Yeah.
Hello.
Wow.
Everyone say hi.
Hi. What up?
Okay. Which lines, if any, are parallel? Who can raise their hand? Nathan.
Red and green.
That is correct. It would be the red and the green. Now they're close. I write red and green with blue.
That's ironic.
The red and the green line are parallel. Who can tell me why? Paul?
Oh, because green and blue will intercept. Actually, they did intercept down there.
Okay.
And red doesn't have the same slope as blue, so red and blue have the same rise over run.
Yeah, in order for lines to be parallel, what do we know about their slopes?
They have to be the same.
They have to be the same slope.
Red and green.
So, what is the slope? This is number 2. What is the slope of the red line?
5.
Up 5 over 1. So 5 over 1 we can just call 5, right? So we would say the red line has a slope of 5. What is the green line's slope?
5.
It's also 5. That's why they're parallel. But it's close, but what is blue?
6.
6. It's 6 over 1. So it is not parallel to the red and the green. Okay? Number 4. Oh, sorry. That was number 2. Number 3 says, what is the slope of the line that would be perpendicular? We talked about this last class. Perpendicular to the red line. Olivia. First of all, what 2 things do you have to do?
You have to switch the numerator to the denominator, and you have to make it negative.
Good. What do we call that? The fancy words. The opposite reciprocal. Good. So, what is 5 over 1 upside down?
Negative
1 over 5, and this one's positive, so this one's
Negative.
negative. So the line that is perpendicular to the red line would be negative 1/5. And you can kind of see how that, if you pick any point, and you do the slope of negative 1 over 5, what is negative 1 telling you to do with slope? Down 1, and then a positive 5 is right or left?
Right.
Right is positive. So down 1 over 5. Down 1 over 5. And you can see how this line right here would be a perfect right angle to the red line. Okay? So then number 4 says write the equation of a line. What is slope-intercept form? So what is slope-intercept form of a line? Riley. What's slope-intercept form of a line? Y equals mx plus b. Good. And what is, it says we're writing the equation of the perpendicular line. So what did we just find out the perpendicular slope would be? Negative 1/5. So it's y equals negative 1/5 x. What would the y-intercept be? Because remember, b is the y-intercept. Doesn't matter.
No.
No.
That's it?
It can be literally any number, so pick a number.
Negative 2.
I heard negative 2, so I'll put a minus 2 here. The y-intercept doesn't matter for perpendicular because regardless of where I move that green line, so if let me see if it'll let me do it. If I click this green line, it doesn't matter. It's a 2. It doesn't even look like a Z.
I know, but could you?
Oh, no, it could be a number.
Z could equal anything.
You could, yeah. But see, regardless of where I put this, see how my y-intercept is like 7 now? Now it's 6, 5, 4. It doesn't matter where I put it, it's still going to be perpendicular to the red line. So any y-intercept is fine. Unless if they ask you to go through a specific line, or through a specific point. Then you have to find it. We practiced that last class with those videos. Okay? Any questions on the warm-up?
Wait,
Wait,
do you actually
good
have
catch.
TV on it?
Do what?
Do you actually watch TV on it?
There's internet, so it
Ooh,
could...
Did you watch Netflix?
All right.
Wait, could you record the entire
So today we're going to do like a review question, then I'm going to go over it. Review question, I'm going to go over it. So you need some type of piece of paper out. You can just do it on the warm-ups that you were just working on. All right, we have 2 different types of forms of a line. One of them is called standard form, and it's AX plus by equals c. That's what they give us for number 1. But that's not a very good form for graphing. It can do other things well, but for graphing, we have a better form, and it's called slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And this form is much more helpful because it tells you the slope and the y-intercept, which are the two things you need to be able to graph. So first of all, what do I need to do to this form to transition it so that it's y equals mx plus b? Brooke, what do I need to do first? Good. I need to do a subtraction po. I need to subtract 2 x's from both sides. So we get 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. We can't combine those, right? Because one has an x and one doesn't. They're not like terms, so we just write them separately. Okay? Now we're still not quite there because you'll notice slope-intercept form just has one single y. So Paul, how can I make this so that there's just one y on the left?
Take out the 3.
And how do we take it out? Divide by 3. That's 3 times y. So to undo it, we divide by 3. But if you divide one thing by 3, you have to go through and divide everything by 3. So our final answer, that cancels, would be y equals... Now don't get a decimal here, right? Don't put that in your calculator and get a decimal. Slope is actually better as a fraction. So keep that as negative 2/3 x plus 2.
Now what's underneath that?
That is your answer for number 1. Okay? Now I'll do number 2. I'm going to give you 30 seconds for this. So write these on your own. Try to stay ahead of me. Do it on your own because you have a test over next class. All right, Joe, what is the slope of this line, m? Good. Negative 2/3 is the answer.
What? But don't you have to...
Nope.
Why? Oh, it is over.
It's the number in front of x. It's the m value.
I was thinking the other
What are you gonna do?
X
2/3
divided by 3?
And Aiden, what is my y-intercept?
2.
2. And usually we use the letter b to represent the y-intercept. So we'd say b equals 2.
Wow.
Okay? Step 3, graph. The y-intercept is 2. That's what you have to graph that first, otherwise you don't know where to do the slope from. We have to know one of the points. And the y-intercept is a point. It's a point on the y-axis. It's at 2 in this case. And now from that point, the slope tells us where to go. So what does a rise of negative 2 mean? Down 2, and then run of positive 3 is right 3. So we're going to go down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. What else can we do?
Up to left.
We're going to do the exact opposite. Up 2, left 3. Just continue the line the other way. Up 2, left 3. Up 2, left 3. And then you can connect it with a straight line.
Oh my god.
Not bad.
Whoa, how'd you do that?
Not bad.
Yeah, straight lines are hard.
Yeah, straight lines are hard. Okay, now, I want you to graph the line x equals 5. So this was in one of your videos. Graph the line x equals 5. Show me with your arm, what does the line x equals 5 look like? Straight up and down, right? It's a vertical line. And what's the slope of a vertical line?
0.
It's not 0. Undefined.
No.
Flat is 0.
The greatest Christopher in all.
So,
Dude, I love that video.
x equals 5 is a vertical line at the, oops.
Oh no.
What's the browsing?
It's a vertical line at the x value of 5.
That is a really strange.
So it looks something like that. Okay? How, what does a y equals 4 line look like? Or y equals 2? or y equals negative 7. In other words, there is no x value. What does that look like? Jordan?
Looks like this.
Awesome. It's flat, right? It's horizontal. It has a slope of
0.
0. That's why it's no x. 0x cancels out. You're just left with
Big
y.
red goose egg.
So, for example, if I asked you to graph the line y equals negative 2, that's just a vertical line at
Point of negative 2.
not vertical, a horizontal line at the y value of negative 2. So, negative 2 is down here.
And there's a simple way
Oh,
to
that's
know
supposed to
you're
be a line.
wrong. It's really
It
simple.
would be right there. What?
If you know you're wrong, like if you do a vertical one and it says y equals, you won't be able to see your line because it's on the origin line.
Oh, yeah. One more thing. I could ask you on the test to write the equation of a line that is perpendicular and through a point. So,
Yes, please. Now, the new TV.
What
right
is
there.
that?
We
Jump
actually
off that
like
cliff right now.
so let's say, what is the equation of this line again? The equation of the line.
X equals 5.
It's x equals 5. I want you to write the equation of the line that is perpendicular, but through the point negative 3, 4. That one right there. Think of what that would look like and how we would write it.
Wait,
So it's perpendicular to the blue line,
Oh, I got this.
but it goes through this point, negative 3, 4. Neil?
Y equals 4.
Good. It would be y equals 4,
basically whatever rises.
right? This is an x equals line, so perpendicular is a y equals line, and the rise, the y value of that point is 4. So y equals 4 would look something like this. That would be the line that
You
is
made a box!
perpendicular to the blue line and through a specific point. Okay?
There's,
Alrighty. The slope formula right here, that will tell us what m is. So we take our two y values, what are my two y values here? 2 and 4. So on the top of your fraction, I'm going to do 4 minus 2 over. Now, it doesn't matter what order you go in, kind of like the distance formula, but you do have to keep that order. So for example, if I started with 4 on top, what x value do I have to start with on bottom? 1. We're going this direction. So 1 minus negative 1. There's a minus in the formula, and x is also negative, so we have minus and negative. Okay? So we simplify, we get 2 over 2, which is 1. That is what you plug in for m. So we now have 1. And then we need to find the y-intercept, and we don't know the y-intercept. So pick your favorite point. Doesn't matter which one.
6.
Point
1, 4.
1, 4. Okay, I heard 1, 4. So we're going to take that point, and we're going to plug that in for x and for y. You could have picked this one. You'll get the exact same thing. So for x, we're going to put 1. For y, we're going to put 4. So we're just plugging in. Y is 4. We found that m is 1. X is 1. And that we can now solve for b. So what is 1 times 1? 1. So we get 4 equals 1 plus b.
What?
1 times 1 is 1.
You simplify.
And then how do I solve for b? What do I need to do?
Subtract 1.
Subtraction po. So therefore b is 3. So my final answer is y equals mx plus b, but you have to fill in the m, and you have to fill
x
in
plus 3.
the b.
It rhymes.
So what is m?
1.
What is b?
3.
3. That's your answer.
Such a enthusiastic.